They laughed at him. They said he'd never make it. They called him a failure, 10 times in a row. But on the 11th time, he built something that changed millions of lives, including his own. This is the story of Ethan Cole, an ordinary man who proved that sometimes failure isn't the end. It's the beginning. Every morning before sunrise, Ethan woke up to silence. No messages, no notifications, no applause, just the sound of his old alarm clock echoing in a small Chicago apartment. The paint on the walls was peeling, the floor creaked, and next to his bed, a pile of unpaid bills. He'd tried everything: a candle shop, a street food cart, a t-shirt business, a small cafe, a delivery service, a gadget idea, an online store, a phone repair shop, a tutoring app, a cleaning service. 10 dreams, 10 failures. Each one ended the same way, with disappointment, debt, and a heavy heart. His friends moved on with life, got stable jobs, bought cars, posted smiles online, but Ethan stayed in the same broken room, looking at his reflection and whispering, "Maybe I'm just not meant to succeed." That night, he sat in darkness, only the streetlight glowing through the window. He pulled out his old notebook, the one filled with his failed ideas. And there it was, on a torn page, half erased by time, an idea he had written years ago, an app that helps jobless people find small local work. He had dismissed it before, said it was too small, too simple. But that night, he whispered, "Maybe that's exactly what people need." The next morning, Ethan woke up with something he hadn't felt in months: purpose. He borrowed an old laptop from a friend. He didn't have fancy software or a team, just YouTube tutorials and stubborn hope. He worked day and night, learning how to build, how to code, how to fail better. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. And finally, after endless cups of coffee and frustration, his idea took shape. He called it Hand Up. Not a handout, a hand up. The launch day came quietly. No ads, no investors, no hype. Just Ethan, sitting on his floor, clicking Publish. At first, nothing happened. No downloads, no reviews, no miracle. But he didn't give up this time. He updated the app every day, fixed bugs, changed designs, improved features, until one afternoon, a woman named Laura downloaded it, a single mother, jobless for months, desperate for work. Through Hand Up, she found a small cleaning job in her neighborhood. That job became a weekly income. One day, she posted online, "Thanks to Hand Up, I can feed my kids again." That one post changed everything. Within days, hundreds of downloads, then thousands. People across the city were finding jobs through Ethan's app. He wasn't making much money, but he was making a difference. And that felt richer than anything he'd ever dreamed of. A few weeks later, a local news channel featured him. Man who failed 10 businesses, now helping thousands find work. Ethan stared at the TV, tears in his eyes. For the first time, he realized maybe all those failures weren't wasted. Maybe they were steps. Investors started calling. Tech companies wanted to partner. But Ethan kept his focus simple: helping people. Within a year, Hand Up became one of the most popular job apps in America. Not because it was perfect, but because it was real. When reporters asked him, "What's your secret to success?" he said quietly, "Fail enough times to understand what truly matters." Still, Ethan never forgot where he came from. He stayed in that same apartment for a long time. Same cracked mug, same quiet mornings. He didn't need luxury. He had peace. Because now he understood something most people don't. Success isn't about money. It's about meaning. One afternoon, after a seminar, a young man walked up to him. He said, "Sir, I've failed too many times. Maybe I'm not good enough." Ethan smiled and said, "Do you know why success takes so long? Because it wants to see if you're strong enough to handle it." The boy frowned. Ethan continued, "Every failure teaches you how to stand up again. And standing up is the real definition of success." The boy nodded, eyes shining, and Ethan realized that's why he was meant to fail. So one day, he could teach someone else to rise. Years passed. Hand Up expanded across America, then the UK, then beyond. Millions found work, dignity, and hope through it. Ethan never called himself a genius. He called himself a student of failure. At every event, he told his story, raw, unfiltered. He ended every speech with the same line: "You don't fail because you're weak. You fail because life is training you for something greater." Later in life, Ethan started helping others start their own small businesses. He gave scholarships to dreamers. He funded those who had been rejected. And in every hand-up office, he placed a quote on the wall: "It only takes one right idea, but you must survive the 10 wrong ones first." One rainy night, Ethan walked the same streets he once delivered food on. Same lights, same city. But now, the world felt different. He stopped near an alley where years ago he had once cried after his 10th failure. He smiled softly and whispered, "Thank you," because he finally understood that every failure had been a gift in disguise. Years later, Hand Up became a global movement. And when Ethan passed away peacefully at 78, the world mourned a man who never gave up. Social media filled with stories from mothers, workers, students, all saying the same thing: "Because of Hand Up, my life changed." At his memorial, someone placed a note beside his picture: "You failed 10 times, but you helped 10 million rise. Thank you, Ethan." And that's how an ordinary man, with no money, no power, no luck, built something extraordinary. Because he never stopped believing. He taught the world one timeless truth: you don't need to win every time. You just need to get up one more time than you fall. Because the world doesn't change when you succeed. It changes when you refuse to give up.